I wanted to make this video. I've been playing Ready or Not for quite a long time. I got 162 hours since this came out on console. On PC, I couldn't even tell you. But I've been seeing a lot of videos of people talking about loadout setups and the way that they run things. And I just kind of wanted to put my hat in the ring and give you 5 tips of what I think are really useful for good gunfighting in Ready or Not. And I want to start this off by saying that the first thing that's the most important is information is going to win you a gunfight. Whether that's how many people are behind a door, where the enemy's coming from, how much ammo you have, like just anything like that. Like having more information than the other party involved, especially on the harder levels with more capable suspects, such as, the nightclub, the Elysian Resort, the new DLC that's just came out. I know New America is like, you know, destroying a lot of people right now. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna get right into it. So the first thing that I'm gonna say is, again, keeping with the theme of information, is pie your doors. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be, every single time you swing open a door and pie it. Like, don't be willy-nilly about it. But even if it's like, just real quick, like just to get a gist, keep your rifle up, kind of see what you can before you go in, because if you have to go into a room, it's a lot easier if you don't have a mirror gun. If you know what you can before you go in. Like, yeah, sure, right? This isn't gonna tell me everything. I don't know what's here. I don't know what's around that hard corner there. But like, I at least have some semblance of, all right, this looks good enough, and I can go from there. Maybe if you make contact, you can decide what you need to do from there with the rest of your team, or just you if you're playing solo. You know what I mean? Like, just getting that little additional information from peeking the corner or pieing the door, just dealing with whatever you can in the room before you go in the room, if that makes sense. This way, you have more leverage for cover, or, if you need to throw in a grenade or something like that, you kind of get that little advantage over. And that takes us into the second tip, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Use your grenades, your flashbangs, your stingers, whatever you have. You don't always just have to go balls to the walls and just shoot everything in sight, like, yeah, it's fun, it's cool, but sometimes, when you have those really, really bad angles like this right here, like there's a lot going on in this room, and if I was to, whatever, and do this, like there's something back here, it's kind of gonna make for a bad time. So, you might want to just, okay, let me throw this bang in there and kind of neutralize the left side, deal with the threat, and have extra time to, willy smoke those things or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't just have to be flashbangs. It could be stingers, it could be launchers, gas, whatever your playstyle is, whatever the way that you like to run it. Just that, having flashbangs and ordnance and everything like that is an advantage that you have over the suspects. So, make good use of it. Like, you should always have at least one or two in your loadout, and if you don't, you should really reconfigure some stuff. But yeah, that's all I've got today for that one. And then for the third tip, this one's also, again, going to be pretty self-explanatory, but that's going to be, keep your shots light, keep your shots accurate. When I've been playing the game, I never really use fully auto. There are some levels, and, depending on your caliber, you're going to have to use fully auto. But for the most part, like, if you're like me, you're just running a plain Jane 5.56, like, you don't really need a lot. 2 rounds to the chest is going to in-cap most targets. So you don't need to, like, yeah, like, sometimes, you panic and you whatever, right? And that's well and good, but if you can help it, try to keep your shots on target, keep it light, If you have to kill the suspect, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. Honestly, 3 to the chest, that's what I've gotten used to. It works. There's nothing wrong with it. Save your ammo, keep your shots light, just do a 3. If you miss, do another 3. Like, just keep it going, that way you're not dumping all your rounds, especially if you have a more conservative loadout like I do, where I don't have a lot of mags. I only carry 5, which even that for most maps is well enough. But just, short controlled bursts, keep your shots on target, be smart about what you're shooting, just, keep it light. You don't gotta dump all your mag on one guy. It's not gonna do you any favors. Especially people that like to double tap targets, like, you don't gotta do all that, you know what I mean? Like, they're already dead, just move on to the next guy, save your rounds. You don't want to be the guy at the end of the game who's got 3 guys left and has no ammo, or has to use their 1 pistol mag. so don't do that. And then finally, for the last two, these are going to go hand in hand. It's the first one's going to be control the flow. So that might sound a little confusing, but the way that I like to explain that is, depending on your situation, and especially if you have wedges, you can kind of control the flow of the battle, like your little gunfight, right? So say if I got in a scuffle right here, right? I was clearing here, and I peeked this door, that guy's pinning me. I can't move through the store. Well, what I can do in this situation is, if I'm pinned down, right? I don't want him to flank me or have someone else flank me while I'm stuck here holding this, waiting for that guy to, push me or whatever. I could take advantage of that and wedge this, or have someone pull security on the store, do whatever I need to do, so that way I know 100%, okay, the threat is only in this direction. You know what I mean? I can control the flow of the battle and make sure that no one is flanking me, or I'm not getting outsmarted, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's better to just have someone on security here while I have this. But if you can't, a wedge is always nice. Just put that little wedge there, and, peace of mind. No one's coming to that door. I just got to worry about this. You know what I mean? And then from there, you can get a bang in there, kind of reassess, reload, do, clear the room out. But yeah, and then for the last one, again, this self-explanatory. Honestly, these two can be alternatives to one another. It just depends on what you want to do. That's going to be to reapproach your threat. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in this situation where, like I said, you're pinned here, you don't always have to just play castle. You don't have to just stay here and just wait for the threat to approach or whatever. Or maybe you don't have flashbangs and you don't light up the room. You can always just take the other approach, take the initiative, just reapproach the situation of, okay, well, I know this guy's here and I don't want to get flanked. Maybe I want to flank before he does. I want to kind of whatever approach that. Or even if you want to get wider with the flanks, like if your suspect is kind of holding against you and they're holding their ground, you can take advantage of that and find a completely different flank around and get the drop on them. Because the thing is that they'll hold that. If they're holding that angle, they'll stay here and wait if they're not going to assault. Like, the AI in this game are really smart. And so you should take advantage of that by really, really thinking of what the enemy could be doing and how you could do it. Because if you just think like, oh, this guy's just going to stay here, he might flank you. If you think like, oh, this guy's going to flank me, maybe he's going to stay there and you can be smart. You know what I mean? Like, just do whatever you can to regain your bearing and get control of the situation again. But yeah, so I think that's everything. This was a bit of a short video. I just kind of cobbled this together after work. But yeah, if anybody wants more or whatever, like, there's plenty of ideas that I have of kind of guides and advice to give, just from playing this game a long time and, knowing a little bit about CQB and tactics and whatnot. But yeah, that'll be the video. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.